Welcome to the CFG Gamecast, episode number 239, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers alike to talk about the latest gaming topics and news. We stream a new episode on Saturdays, but changing soon, and release it on every podcast service, and we don't list any specifics every Monday. So give us a like, a follow, and don't forget to write us a review. Give us some stars. Let us know how you like it, because that helps us too. Or go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am your host, obviously Mr. Davis Green, and with me today I have
Obviously.
a lovely cyborg.
Obviously.
I am a black man. Hello?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to widescreen it and then just make you say, like when you say that you're Davis Green. But no, continue. Yeah. Go on. Go for it.
How dare you interrupt me? I am obviously Davis Green, a black man. And with me today, my lovely co-host. Doesn't she look fantastic? The lovely, the beautiful, the incomparable cyborg. This is Lex. How are you this week? This is Lex.
It's like, man, am I like the third person here? Jesus, well, that's cool. You know what? We're letting that one roll. So I'm going. Okay. I'm good with that. So
I was doing it for shits and gigs, but I'm down with it.
We'll definitely do it. Well, no,
I am a black man. Racist. Thanks, Smitty.
Oh, that is so funny. But no, that's great. But no, that is really no. But guys, welcome to the CFG Gamecast episode number 239. Lex, what have you been up to?
Great question. Not gaming, as we all know. Find out on Monday. We get updates on Monday about my hands. Well, I've been crafting. I'm done. We're doing like a reno for the house, a small little reno, updating furniture and stuff. So I built all the IKEA furnitures. It's all done. The couch is built. Now we're just looking at paint. For the living room, we're gonna go with like an emerald green, moody with like gold accents. We're gonna do wainscoting. So it's gonna be crown molding, then the wainscoting, which is usually a molding of itself, center of the wall, and then new molding on the bottom. And then we're gonna do like the frame outs with same mold but smaller with little frame outs around the house. And then inside those, Adam wants to do like a gothic, lacy kind of look inside them. So it's going to have like a real fun, like moody vibe. I also think he's going to let me in our entryway paint our door purple because there's a witch that lives here, of course. And I can't do that on the outside because my HOA already hates me. But yeah, I finished like all the Halloween decorations. I'm not pulling all of them out this year because we're going to be doing stuff, to the house, and it's silly to have it out. Also, if you don't know, Bashir, Adam's orange kitty, the menace, he eats everything, including tape. So I don't want him to eat the Halloween decorations because I crystallized a bunch of like stuff and it looks really cool, but Jadzia and Opie want nothing to do with it. They're like, chemicals, let me stay away. He wants to get up in it and sniff it. And I'm like, I'm not risking him licking this borax crystals that I made and him keeling over. So a lot of decorations are staying in the garage.
Your dog literally was at first was just standing and just looking at you like creeper, like a creeper status, and then he's just laying down in the hallway. They're just laying down in the hallway. And I was just like, oh, that's freaking hilarious. But
she has a tribble. You can't. I don't know if you can see it, but she's got a tribble, and if she picks it up, it could make noise. And I think that's what she's waiting for is the call out to bring it here.
I see.
Because if I throw it for her, it's gonna go. But yeah, it's been nice to just we created this awesome couch build essentially where I can be in a laying position, and it's I call it my little hole because it's great, having not just one space in our house that I'm comfortable in bed, but also downstairs in the living room. So we've been watching a lot of shows, and we've gotten to Mad Men. Couldn't stop watching last night. I blinked and it was 6:30 in the morning. I was like, oh shit, I need to go to bed. Yeah.
But well, it seems like you've
been just crafting. I've been making little things for my collared shirts and dresses. So I'm very excited to bust those out. They're really neat.
So I guess it's 3 weeks and counting so far right now on gaming. Nothing so far. I mean, don't get me wrong.
April. I haven't gamed since April.
I'm not talking about streaming. I'm talking about just in general gaming.
I don't game by myself either. I haven't since April. I've played like 3 or 4 sessions with the Spoopy crew for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe a total of 10 times since April. That's
Well,
it.
don't get me wrong. I mean, I know because of like what's going on with like medically, but I mean, I'm just saying. But that's crazy. But yeah,
And
also,
I told the Spoopy crew, I was like, guys, I'm out indefinitely until further notice. Like,
yeah,
I'll stay in the group chat that I made, but like, I'm out. You guys make plans, enjoy. I don't want to cramp your style, you know.
No, that's fair. Yeah.
What have you been doing, buddy?
Well, it's kind of funny. I've been all over the place this week. It was actually kind of crazy. So like, you know, for like, so I was, what's it called? Well, first off, I'm like, it might be time for me to get glasses, and I do not want glasses. I don't want to wear them. I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I just never like it, to be. Well, when I was younger, when I was in middle school, I was prescribed reading glasses. So I wore them for like 2 weeks, and I was like, nah, this isn't me. I just left them, and then I never went back to them again.
Okay.
So, but now it's like my sister's been urging me because when I randomly remember the time I had pink eye randomly last month or something.
Because Smitty farted on your pillow.
Yeah, yeah. They somehow sometimes my vision on my left side, sometimes it gets kind of blurry, and I'm just like, I don't know if I want, like, I need to go to an optometrist, but I know what they're going to say. They're going to say, oh yeah, you need glasses or something.
Why don't you get contacts?
Oh, there's no way that I can put a contact in my eye. Yeah, I've never done it. It's
not bad.
I mean, still, it's just the regular maintenance of doing it. Like, you know, like putting the eye
contacts
thing
in right now.
Yeah, how long have you been wearing contacts and glasses and stuff like that? Like,
I only started wearing contacts this year because I have astigmatism.
Yeah, well,
and they didn't really have contacts for stigmatisms until recently. Oh, my glasses are so big, I have to take my headphones off to get them back in. But it's not bad. It really isn't. I don't know if you're one of those like nearsighted or farsighted.
I'm nearsighted.
Okay.
I can see near fine, but far I can't see very well.
Okay, so I'm the same. Yeah, no. Are you having trouble driving at night?
No, I'm fine with that. It's just like,
okay.
When I'm looking at the computer screen and stuff, I mean, that's what I do as my job. And now I'm going to be doing overnights and stuff like that. So I'm just going to be, I know I have gamer glasses, which I have, thanks to shout outs to is it Oakley? No, Gunner. Shout outs to Gunner on that one. But,
nice. I do like theirs too.
Yeah, you know the one I want are the Fallout ones. The Fallout glass frames look really good.
Excuse me while I look that up. Fallout gamer glasses.
That looks really, really good. Yeah, but anyway, so I'm looking at that. Then at the beginning of the year, then the beginning of the week, DC reached out and then they were showing the books because they basically made like a multiverse. With the new series. I think it's called like there's Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, and Absolute Wonder Woman. So I checked out Absolute Batman, and oh my god, dude, that is the best Batman I have seen in such a long time.
I just sent you the Fallout glasses. Are those the ones you're talking about?
Let me see. Yeah, but yeah. I just checked out Absolute Batman.
Okay.
And it is like the story, the version of Bruce Wayne in this one of Batman is just sick. It is ridiculous. Like, you know, he had like, you know how he has a utility for everything in his utility belt. He still has that, but now his whole thing, like his cowl is also a weapon. So like you know his like the bat ears he has, the pointy ears, he can those are knives they can just pull out of them on the top and use them as daggers. And then what was funny, so there was a scene, spoilers if you do read this because the first book. There's a scene that he's fighting this big guy and he has this knife and then he says that he's killed several people with this knife. So then Batman has like, you know, his Batman logo on his front of his thing. Yeah, his emblem. His emblem is just it doesn't really look like a bat. It just looks like a rectangle with little jagged edges in certain parts of the rectangle, and it's a little bit curved on the edge. And I thought that was the version of the bat logo in this one. He gets a stick out. He puts it underneath the logo. It's a battle axe. He's able to yank it off of his chest. and he just one shots this guy with a his arm, and I'm like, this is wild, bro. I was like, this is a
Straight
great.
up murdering fools.
He didn't kill him. He just chopped off his limb. He chopped off his hand.
Just
and I was
chopped off
like,
his hand.
hey, it could have been worse with the size.
I'm sure.
Like, if you see a picture of this guy, it's just freaking insane. But but no, I am loving this version of Batman though. And this is just the first book, and it's with my favorite writer and one of my favorite artists, so Scott Snyder and Nick Dragata. And man, I am loving this. But then at the end of the week, what's it called? Officially is out. Metaphor Refantasio. Like, dude, this is the game I've been just constantly playing this one. Like
Nice.
I decided to officially just stream it, when I can, and
Right.
and then go from there and to see how the game is. And this game is wild. It's definitely the creators of Persona, and I've been loving every minute of it.
I love Persona.
So we'll see. Yeah. So this is the same creators, and they're doing the right thing, man. It just keeps on. It just they have been just making it better and better, and I've. Everything I've seen, and I like. In fact, I streamed a couple of hours, like an hour before this episode, just because I needed to get my fix on this. So yes,
I get it.
Definitely game of the year for me. Like it's definitely a contendership on game of the year for me already.
I do have to make a comment. I think you would look great with glasses, but you got to do it. Like, you got to make them part of the personality. Like, get cool, funky ones.
Just get cool.
I think you can do it.
It's like get cool. Oh, you mean get cool? I was like, no, just get cool.
Yeah.
See, those are the glasses I like. Yeah, you're right.
The
Fallout
Gunners.
glasses.
They're
the
cool.
Gunner glasses.
You could
I like
totally
that.
put those into prescriptions.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I need to know what my prescription is. Like I said, but we'll see.
Right.
We'll see. I need to just get over myself and just get on.
It might not be that bad, and doing contacts isn't bad either. Like, they'll show you how to put them in. I do them with these giant nails. If I can do it, you can do it.
I am never doing it. I am never trying to put something in my eye. I think I'm good with the glasses. If I do, it's going to be glasses.
I get it on my finger, I look down, I look up, and then I pop it in my eye, and then I squish the air bubbles out.
Folks,
like, gently,
if y'all are watching or listening to this, please comment on this. Should I get glasses or should I get contacts? Because I am not getting contacts. Get both.
You could try.
Or I could do option number C, which is LASIK. But I don't know if
Adam is going to have to get his LASIK redone, and he's got really bad halos at night. Like, I have bad halos at night with like lights. Halos? So the headlights. Instead of headlights, they look huge. Like, it blows it out, kind of like how God. I get with like white. And so headlights are like the size of houses, and it's like street lights. Oh yeah, that's why I asked if you're having trouble driving at night. I have that, but with my glasses on, with the contacts, I don't have that issue. Regular glasses though, it's bad. But he's gonna have to probably get his LASIK redone because his vision's getting bad. I don't know if I would recommend it. Also, if you don't like touching your eye and putting contacts in, it is terrifying having the LASIK done. You're awake for it.
The idea of LASIK is already terrifying as it is. But anyways, we digress.
Also, I would like to point out, every doctor who does LASIK wears fucking glasses. They don't have it themselves. Like, that should be telling. I don't trust that shit.
There you go. Well, I know y'all don't want to hear about the argument of what is better of glasses or contacts. So let's go through the normal rigmarole that we like to do each and every week. So each of us chooses a topic of discussion in the world of video games from the previous week. The topic would or could be a game itself or something that happened in the gaming industry itself. So if there is something that you wanted to chime in on whatever we discussed, by all means, just type it inside the chat. We would love to discuss it back with you and go from there as always. So let's get this party started with Lex. What are you bringing to the table?
So I know we've talked about it a bunch in the last year and a half, but just as your reminder, you do not own games, you're licensing them. And Steam is finally putting that warning in when you purchase games. Why? Why now? And why not previously? Great question. Thank you for asking. So Gavin Newsom signed a law that forces digital marketplaces to make it clear to customers that when you buy, or they, being you the customer, buy media, you are only buying a license to that media. So the law itself is A as an alpha, B as in boy, 2426. So it prohibits online storefronts from using the words buy, purchase, or any other term which a reasonable person would understand to confer an unrestricted ownership interest in the digital good or alongside an option for a time limited rental. The law won't apply to storefronts that state in plain language that you're actually just licensing the digital content and that license could expire at any time. Or to products that can be permanently downloaded, companies that violate the terms could be hit with false advertising fines. So we've talked about it. So many games that were out and popular and the number of people playing it dropped drastically in the first month. They take their games off servers, and you as the client are then can never play it again online. And again, we've had so many games in the last 2 years that have just come out, they didn't hit at the right time, and bam, they're gone. So you as a customer are kind of screwed in that regard. Well, not kind of, you are, because you purchased this item, but you don't own it. You've never owned it. But I like that the language is very plain. They have to tell you you are not buying or purchasing, you are just licensing. So finally, Steam is putting it in plain writing. Davis, I know we kind of started to get into it before the podcast started, but I know you've got a lot to say.
I mean, I don't really have a lot to say. I mean, I'm just more surprised that we haven't like this hasn't been something that happened a longer time ago.
Yeah.
You know, like
right.
because like I guess the thing is that I guess we didn't have to worry about it as much what it was a long time ago because the climate of the gaming. Copies. Well, it's not even only that because I mean we still have physical copies. I think the biggest thing is the fact that nowadays games longevities do not last as long as what it is, and then plus like the chances of like, you know, if a game is successful or the type of games, because I really think if anything that pushed the reason why they pushed themselves to having to say this is because games as a service became the bigger entity, right, or a big entity. Because like it, I mean, look, when you think about last year alone, look at the graveyard of games that have only been out for a short period of time. Knockout, what's called that dodgeball game from EA. Then you also had Rumbleverse, and like even the crappy ones that are still active, but it's just a matter of time, you know. Like I mean, right, I'm not saying crappy, but like Multiverses is a lot lower numbers of what they were expecting it to get. Look at freaking what's it called? It just Concord. That was 2 weeks. I mean, that was legitimately 2 weeks. And then they paid money. But then Sony knew that if they didn't give them their money back, the people would literally be rioting back towards it. I'm just saying that, like, we didn't have to worry about industry or a company to just say, okay, we're shutting it off. You can't get it back. But unless there was like, you know, there was 2 small instances. Like I think was it Need for Speed that tried to like remove it from their digital library, and then the people that purchased it, they're like, oh well, too bad, so sad and stuff. Yeah, they don't want those situations are going to go up in the rise now, since more games are going more towards the digital age. And then but this is probably, for me, this pretty much solidifies my reasoning on why I only will try to get physical copies. I mean, if I possibly can. I've always been that way though. I never was like, I guess PC is the only one that I give the exception to, but like for consoles and stuff like that, no, I try to get physical more than I ever try to get a digital copy, unless the company gives me a key for it, you know.
Yeah.
But
no, I get that.
Yeah, but I mean, this is more like this isn't more like a change of policy per se, because it's been around. It's just been an unspoken policy, but people need to be more aware of what they're buying, and
especially with games of service, because that's where this is where the issue truly lies. Because a lot of the games that we are purchasing and interested in now are games of service, which are supposed to continue on in that longevity. But if they're not hitting the numbers right off the bat, they're taking that sucker off the servers, and then again, you as a client, you paid for something and it's gone. And if they want to be shady and shitty about it, they could say fuck you and not give you your money back, you know?
Yeah. Well, this is what I think what's going to happen. Like I think this is a preemptive attack for something higher issue because it's not going to something's going to happen in the future where it's going to be like
Right.
you bought something in. Oh, and this is not even including the Kickstarter games that promises you the world like the day
Oh,
before and
yeah.
stuff like that, and then you just came back, you just got crap. I mean, like this is just protecting themselves from any kind of deliberations of stuff saying like, oh, you bought this game. I was like, oh, I bought this game, I own this game. It's like, oh no, it's like not so fast, we got the digital copy. No, we just gave you the right to buy it. And
Right.
even physical games technically has that too. The only difference is it's not like you don't, well, certain games, but you don't need like a digital print of to allow yourself to play it. That's so
Right.
But it's just a different source of technology. And honestly, like that has always terrified me ever since the PS3 when that happened,
Yeah.
when there was a lot of games that were like basically locked on that system. There's still games that are locked on that system and you can't transfer it, but you purchased it and you wanted to play it again. Like I still want to play X-Men and the Simpsons arcade games, but nope, that's not going to ever happen
Yeah.
unless they redo all of that. Yeah, the Simpsons arcade game is such a classic,
So
like,
good.
yeah, the only other way to get it is arcade one up. But do you want to spend $600 for a 30-year-old game? No, I don't.
No.
so
No
so
thanks.
yeah. I mean, it's a very brain buster. It's like an obvious moment situation, which I'm glad they did. And I know the only reason why they're doing it is because of the law that Gavin Newsom did approve in California. Good for them on doing that. And I'm glad that also, and glad Steam doesn't have to notify everybody, but I'm glad that they decided to say, no, we're just going to do it just all across the board. Be a lot easier.
Right.
So, and now that even now that Android is now opening up their gaming space now for Xbox, so Xbox games are going to be now consistently like you can just buy on an app and stuff. Yeah, I mean they're future proofing themselves, but yeah, so yeah, I mean it's obvious, it's a good move, it's a good thing, but you know what's going to end up happening? Nothing's going to change.
No.
Yeah. I mean, what's going to happen is that now there's an additional row of the terms of services that that everyone skips to read and then just say, okay, I understand, because no one wants to read the legal mumbo jumbo. They just
legalese.
The legalese and stuff. They just wanted to do what they need to do.
And that's why, like, again, the law that Gavin Newsom signed, good for him. It says specifically they have to state in plain language. So it's not the legalese that we're used to. But if you're ever bored, by all means, please read some of them. They are hilarious. They put the weirdest stuff in them. I don't know if whoever, like, technical writer is writing these out is like working on 4 different projects at once, but sometimes like weird stuff ends up getting in there and it's kind of hilarious. It's a good toilet read if you get bored.
Yeah, really? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
It's same total read. Riggedy Rex said, oh, thank God you have the second row. How big is your, and then it just stops and I'm like, but he says, Riggedy Rex says, how big is your Steam library? Yeah, this is definitely not mine. Like my Steam library is like small. Like my personal Steam library is very, very small. But the website's,
don't know how big mine is.
Yeah, the website Steam library is massive. I will say that. So, but no, I don't. Like I said, I mean, I do play PC games. There's certain games I like to play on PC. There's certain games I like to play on console. I can easily split up the games easily for me to do that. But yeah, like RPGs and stuff is definitely a console based game. Yakuza is definitely console. I don't care about graphics. It's definitely like
I'm curious.
Nice chill games.
How many games do you have in your Steam library?
How many do I personally have on my Steam library? I don't have that many. Let me see.
I'm just curious because I have 480.
Yeah, I don't have that much. Let me see what I got.
But Some
Yeah,
of them are
but
Adam's games, so probably 200. Let's be real, because that boy, if y'all friends with my partner, and you see him pop up, he is playing all day long while he works, and he's doing sequel at the same time. I don't know how he does it.
oh, he knows equal backwards and forth.
And
Oh, sorry,
oh,
just
he
popped
does.
up on it. You know what? But like, godly, I don't. He's playing two different games at the same time, like you said before.
Oh yeah.
It's freaking
And then
crazy.
people will like message him. They're like, "Hey, I'm stuck on this boss fight. Can you help?" He's like, "Yeah, no problem."
Oh
He's
wow.
like everybody's clincher for boss. Hey, he's helped you out on boss fights too.
Did he? Oh, he did on.
Oh yeah.
He did on what's it called, that Dracula game, Rising. But then he left me out to dry for the rest of the for the rest of the game, so I can't even play. I can't play with no one anymore.
Yours is 950. Yeah. See,
950. So mine
it tells
is,
you at the top of your library all of
yeah.
them.
Mine is Mine is not even triple digits. Mine is 85.
Really?
I told you I didn't have a lot.
Oh, you got a little baby library.
I'm fine. It's not even baby. This is like maybe like
baby.
this is like 3 months in the womb.
Fetus.
That's what that is. It's being developed.
Cells.
That's what that is. Yeah.
It's cells in the womb.
So let's see how much the CFG has. 176 for Soapy Night. Okay, so yeah, 950. That's the biggest one I've seen so far.
I got 476, and I'll be honest, probably 200 of them are Adams. Maybe
435. Okay, that's how much I have on CFG games, the CFG games one. But like I said, I don't personally like to, play on my PC mostly. The only time I do.
My Steam library is also connected to my sudo for when I review games. So a lot of them I review and then I don't touch them. Yeah, it's a mix between mine, my review, and then Adam's.
Oh, okay.
Which, if you guys are wanting me to review games, I'm so sorry. I'm not doing it right now. You guys are reaching out to my Trouble with Trouble email. I'm sorry. I'm not responding at this time. I need to have like a message. I'm dead.
I'm semi-retired right now.
I am retiring. I'm so
That's
sorry.
what that is. 176.
I don't know how they figured out it's me.
Oh, well, there you go.
It's a pen name.
It's the internet, man. The internet will always figure it out. So there you go. Yeah, but there we go. I mean, like I said, this is just a normal trend. I'm glad that they did. They have to do it at this point because there's going to be. We're just waiting for the big lawsuit that's going to cost them to change everything. Exactly.
Yep.
So
money.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, right. Well, my topic is funny. So, like I said, yesterday was the first official day of Metaphor ReFantazio. This was actually a pretty busy week because Metaphor ReFantazio and Dragon Ball Sparking Zero came out the same day. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero came out yesterday. However, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero had an early release. So if you reserved it or whatever, or bought the digital deluxe edition or something, you were able to play at the beginning of the week. And then I'm pretty sure that's a lot of people are seeing that kind of stuff nonstop, But as usual for an Atlas Sega game, Metaphor ReFantazio, which if you do not know is a game that is created by the developers of the Persona 4 developers and creators of Persona 4 and Persona 5 decided to make their own IP, a brand new IP with a brand new different kind of story away from the Shimigami Tensei series. So this is their first look, and I will say this game is very political. Because the base story of it is very, very political, and it's very, very cool, very in depth and stuff. Like there's a cast, there's a hierarchy, and then stuff like that. What's up?
You say political. Is it like translating ish to our current climate, or it's political in its own right? Okay,
and political in its own right. Because technically it's a matter of it's basically originally a hierarchy system, but then the story, the base story, and I'm not spoiling this. This is basically what it is. The base story is that there's an initial hierarchy, so there's a king, and then the whole thing, and then something happens to the king, and then something else happens for them to decide to vote for who is going to be the next leader of the country. And then the way that they're doing it is really like, it's really extra, like it has to be. It's not something
Interesting.
simple. So very interesting indeed. Yeah.
I'm
But
gonna be a history nerd here. Very like Hutus and Tutsis is what it's reminding me of.
yeah. So basically, but the thing I'm wanting to talk about, because I could talk about Metaphor all day, I'm actually jonesing to play it after this, but still, so Metaphor ReFantazio is a hit, is Sega Atlas's first game that hit 1 million copies the fastest. The last time that they did that was Persona, like was it Persona 4? Yeah, it was Persona 3 or Persona 4. Let me actually look it up real quick, because I know it was but it took them 5 days to reach 1 million. Okay, here we go. You know what? I'm just gonna go on an IGN article. It's probably easier. Here we go. So, oops. Wesley Yin Pool on IGN says Atlas Metaphor ReFantazio has sold over 1 million copies as of its official release date. Publisher Sega has announced. That's enough to make Metaphor ReFantazio the fastest selling Atlas game of all time, breaking Persona 3 Reload's record of hitting 1 million in a week. So they hit 1 million earlier this year, but it took the other game 7 days. It only took this game 1 day. So
Jesus,
it's crazy. So that the Metaphor ReFantazio's October 11th global release date has already seen the Persona style game shoot up Steam's most played games list with 42,992 concurrent players at the time of this article's publication. That figure will no doubt rise that will head into the weekend, and fans will get it in the regions to get a chance to play. The game is also launched on PlayStation. Oh, I didn't know it was launched on PS4 as well, but PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S.
Nice.
But neither Sony or Microsoft makes player numbers publicly available, which should be a crime, but still
silly.
But yeah. But anyways, so there you go. Yeah, Persona 3 Reload.
Nice.
Thank you, Iceman Prime. Yeah, so they are crushing it. This is only day 2, mind you. Keep this in mind. So like, I mean, the only way you can go is going to be up, Yeah. But this kind of leads me to 2 different kinds of things here. And it's funny. Actually, I just mentioned this earlier with my other friends that you don't need to reinvent the wheel when it comes to RPGs, in my opinion. Because
agreed.
This is a turn-based RPG, and I have always felt that, like, big companies like Square Enix decided to wanting to pivot and pivot away from turn-based, and then just dump ridiculous amounts of money on the big IPs that they know is going to sell, like Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy has not been a turn-based game since Final Fantasy since Final Fantasy 10, and they put in a ridiculous amount of money. And even though as awesome as Final Fantasy 16 was, it was not in the eyes of Square Enix, it is not successful because of the amount of money, the amount of time, and the amount of everything that they did just to get what they got out of it, So
yeah.
And it's the same way for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Rebirth is a great game. It's an incredible game, but once again, they can't because they didn't reach the expectations of what they wanted. And they were substantially low. But when you see Atlas release like Persona 3, that's a remake of a game that came out 13 years ago, and they still get the numbers that they're needing to get to be considered to be successful, and it's nowhere near the amount of of copies that Final Fantasy has gotten. I'm just saying that, like, they may just need to kind of may look at what they're doing to make it right, because I don't know. It's just like, it's awesome to hear that to see the success of this game already. Call this game a success after 24 hours of it being released, So like that's
fantastic.
Yeah, so like, but I just find it congratulations to Sega Atlas, or Atlas Sega or whatever. And but so far the game changed my mind, I will say, because like when I tried the prologue out, I was like, this game is more Shin Megami Tensei. If anyone decided this, I don't know if I'm the only one. I mean, y'all can say in the chats if y'all gave it 100%, like, you weren't worried about it ever since it was announced back in like February or March. But like for me,
Right.
I didn't know what kind of game this was going to be. Like for the longest time until I saw the first trailer of like the job, like that this going to have different kinds of job classes, and they showed semi of what the battle system was going to be, and then I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, then I'm sold. Well, first off, I love job classes. Job classes is like a selling point for me. So if you tell me
Me too.
selling points, yeah. If you tell me like, oh, this game has job classes, like, okay, yeah, I'll definitely try it. So but yeah, then I saw then when I saw a full match, I was like, oh, okay, this is definitely my thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was still iffy, and I was still kind of iffy on the demo because I was like, this is just Persona, just with a little bit of things, but it actually has its own identity. I definitely like the game. So I mean, I know you haven't touched it yet, but like, what do you have any opinions on it?
I okay. I have not been, even on my TikTok feed, I haven't been really getting anything as far as games on my, like, when you go on TikTok, you can go to your following, you can just do the for you, and you scroll through. Every other that wasn't like an ad was people live playing this, and I sat and watched for a bit of a creator who I don't know as a gamer at all, and I was shocked to see them playing. So I watched. It looks so good. I love Persona 5. I love Persona 5. And it kills me that like I can't remember the ending of the game. Please don't say it in the chat. But I keep saying I want to go back and play it, and I've had a few sick days in bed where I have gone back and played it, and I'm like, "Oh, I remember this part. What happened at the end? Why can't I remember?" It's driving me up a wall. This looks like the turn base obviously has similar looks and style to Persona 5.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate that it did that, because that as a company is their identity, right? Like it wasn't just Persona 5 that looks similar to that. That's kind of similar in all of their games, right? It looks really good. It doesn't fall under games that I would normally want to play. And I'm kind of mad that I can't, because
Well, you know what? I
these
think
stupid things don't work.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I think that this is a game that is a good, not necessarily introductory, but it is a good game that, like, if someone who has never touched a turn-based RPG before,
oh yeah, for sure,
definitely will do it, because like I've known people who've seen like videos of Persona and they're like, oh wow, this looks like really fun. It's like, and then they try it and they're like, wow, this is really fun, because it's not just a normal turn-based. It's like it's also like, you have all the extra stuff that you could do on the side and stuff brings people in, and and they do a great job of doing that. So they like, I think this is a good enough that like this also looks at people that may have not have seen or played an RPG, and with Atlas they always have a good way of presentation. So yeah, I'm not surprised at all with this. But man, I just can't believe they hit 1 million, dude. Like that fast is impressive, especially on the new. Not only that though, too. Let's even add the fact that it's a brand new IP. It's like,
that's crazy. Good for them,
very
dude.
Good. Very
seriously.
Very good.
Also, I would like to point out, now that I have my color glasses, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, ooh, I bet Persona 5 looks fantastic with these glasses on. No, it's beautiful. And it's interesting that you say that. So the person that I saw is a creator that I follow, who doesn't ever post gaming content, they were playing it, and they've never played a turn-based RPG, let alone it seemed like a game from this developer. So they were asking questions from the chat, and chat was, answering. But also, I would like to point out that this developer is a really good way of, if you forget how to do something or how something works, there's in the settings, you can go back and play that audio or look at the captions and like remember how to do things. It's one of those, I don't know. To me, like, that's so simple, but there are games where you're like, oh, I have a question about X, Y, and Z. And you go to the settings and they'll have like a section about that, and you'll look and it's very vague. You're like, that didn't answer my question. Why would you even have that there?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay.
You've lost me, but I mean, like, are you talking about the game, or are you talking about like?
Yeah. So, okay, in turn-based RPGs, as you're playing, right, like the first chapter, it explains how things work to you, right? Like, okay,
Tutorials.
your character classes, right? But as you're playing, things get a little more complicated. People, people in your group get new abilities, this, that, and the other, right? And then you have a question that was answered in the tutorial, at least the beginning phase. And so you go back thinking like, oh, they explained it in the tutorial, but they probably added on to it at this point because now it's more in depth. And a lot of games don't answer those questions. So you're kind of like, well, I guess I'll find out at some point.
Well, I mean,
but
I guess it just depends on the kind of gamer that you like to be, but like at the same time, like
right.
if it's not in your face, or if it like tutorials is a little bit of a tricky point of like trying to be successful at, and if you do enough, then they can do it. But there's games where it's like for instance, like one of the games that I wish that they don't do a tutorial was Monster Hunter, because the original Monster Hunters were hella tough, and then and you just had to figure it out. And you had to figure out the combos, and once you do, you get a level of accomplishment, in my opinion. Like
yeah.
It just depends on what it is, So that's where I'm kind of standing.
What I'm trying to say is this developer does a really good job of, you put the controller down, life gets busy. It's been a week. You pick it up. You're like, chapter 1 was the tutorial. Now I'm on chapter 36. I don't remember how, this combo works. Let me go and look in the settings for like that tutorial section.
Right.
And it just doesn't really explain it the way you were hoping, is all I'm saying. It just, for me also, like having your tutorial in closed captions, not a ton, like they don't all do it. Like some of the tutorial will be in the closed captions, but not all of them, I've noticed. So this game, it seems that they do. So.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Again, I know we got a little bit of a commercial break of it on Twitch, so we'll give it some time before we switch over. But I will say it's but like no,
this is your game of the year. I feel it.
Well, right now this is definitely my game, one of the games of the year. I think this year's game of the year is going to be tough, because I don't think that it's not as cut and dry as what it has been in the past, in my opinion.
Yeah,
like there are games that definitely shine, and there's also some that are like that, but it's been from a steady point, like to still say that I'm still looking to find my game of the year, and we're in October. It's still kind of surprising to me.
Right. Well, and last year we had Alan Wake pop out right at the end there. And immediately people were like, yep, Alan Wake, I knew it would be my game of the year, which is what I said. Yeah. And there was a contention of like, can it even qualify for it? Because it came out and like...
It wasn't even contention. It was just me. I was like, what? It's only been down for 2 weeks. It's like, hey, That's all. Yeah. So I'll admit, I will definitely admit to that.
You know.
So I've never played an Alan Wake game, and I should, because I loved Control. Control was a great game. So like
I played Control, and I thought I just watched JTZ play it, and like that was my memory of it. No, I played it. I beat it. Don't remember.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's funny. But
I looked back at the video footage. I was like, that's not me. That's a different person. I have been cloned.
The game is glitched. It was so glitchy though. I do remember that, but it holds up though. The graphical wise, it was very nice. All right, Lex, what is your topic?
Yeah. Nothing. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually a horror movie that I have not seen. So
which is
maybe
surprising.
I know. And I asked Adam if we could watch it tonight, and his response was, yeah, sure. And he did say that he has seen Clowns from Outer Space, but it was a long time ago. I was like, okay, cool. Me too. But this one is on our list to watch. Terrifier. Have you guys seen it? It was a 2016 movie. There is a third one that just came out this year. There is obviously Terrifier, Terrifier 2, and Terrifier 3. It is about a clown. His name is Art. If you have been on TikTok or Instagram, you have seen, I believe, we are not mistaken, it is the actual actor from the movie going to Halloween stores and terrifying people, and it is hilarious. So
well, first off, I saw a Facebook video of that or something randomly, and I was like, oh, okay, so it's just the guy doing a prank because it's Halloween, and you don't know, like, but you said that that's the real person that made the movie. Like,
I think so.
Oh my god, it's so
I think
random.
It's an actual actor. Yeah. So
so random.
It might be like a publicity stunt for people to, because you were saying that you can rent the third one, but it is
Mhm.
in theaters. So yeah, he's going around. What is the Halloween store called? You said it earlier.
Spirit.
Now I can't remember. Thank you, Spirit Halloween, and standing alongside those animatronics, in a fixed position with the flower glasses on, and then people will walk by and he'll reach out or say something like they're talking to whoever's next to them, like, "Oh, this looks really good." And he's like, "That's it, down." You're like, "Oh God!" And then he screams too. It's hysterical. But if we can't show the video footage, we've had a little bit of a back and forth. I said we probably could. He's like, "I don't
It's
know if we want to risk it."
it's too gory, dude. Like,
Yeah.
like it's not even like it's not like Mortal Kombat, dude. They censor
No,
Mortal
it is.
Kombat gore and stuff, so like
Yeah.
I don't want to mess with it. But it is
I get it.
yeah. But they are doing a beat 'em up version. I think I could do you know what? I'll do the second half of the video because the first half is
Okay.
pretty.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can do that.
I agree.
Okay.
So art is the Artcade game. So it's retro inspired pixel art beat 'em up based on Art the Clown's world from the Terrifier horror movies. In fact, you play as Art in this 4-player local co-op brawler with a chiptune soundtrack. Soundtrack was great. I mean, I don't know. It seemed like you also agreed with that, but the soundtrack is fantastic.
I never seen it.
Really? I thought you were listening to it before. I was like, oh, the
I was
music's
not
so
listening.
good.
I've never
Oh,
heard
I thought you
anything
were.
about Terrifier until you told me about it.
I sent
said
you
I
the
knew
link.
of
I thought
it.
you heard the
Oh, yeah, no, I
in
didn't
the
hear it.
video. I thought you were listening to it. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, didn't
It's
hear
really good. But it's very Scott Pilgrim esque looking, even the intro part. But it's very old school. Sega Genesis era graphics, 6 different modes, and over the top violence. The developers describe the actions as such. With you
Mhm.
playing as Art, who disrupts movie sets where films about his own gruesome acts are being shot, instead of letting the cameras capture the staged terror, Art brings his own brand of real chaos, tearing through hordes of policemen, firewomen, camera operators, stunt performers, makeup artists, and even unsuspecting civilians. It looks so good. It's cute too. Love it. But again, it gives me Scott Pilgrim Saves the World
Mhm.
as like the intro does. We can't show it. But yeah, it looks good. I'm gonna watch Terrifier the Clown. I know the character.
Well,
But
you clearly
I'd
need to
never
watch
seen
it.
it.
You are.
Yeah.
This game will speaks to you, like of
Oh,
what
yeah.
you like. Like this is what you do.
I like
This is the
Scott
stuff that you
Pilgrim,
like to
too.
do. And Scott
Yeah.
Pilgrim, but still, you're the horror person in our little group here.
I mean,
So
hello.
I'm just saying. I'm just like this is not surprising at all that you would be interested in it. Which oh, by the way, yeah. So, but no, I mean, I like. Well, first off, clowns. So that's a definite no for me. So like, so
Hey, guys.
I'm good. I'm definitely good without not seeing a clown again for the rest of my life. But yeah, clowns is
Really?
definitely a no for me. I can't.
Okay.
And what's it called? But then the fact that I mean, I guess the only reason why I would play it is because it's a beat 'em up. I don't care about everything else. The beat 'em up is fine and stuff. Terrifier a movie, I don't think I'll ever watch, but I've been hearing hype about it for a while. I have been hearing things about saying of people saying, "Oh, this is like the this is probably this decade's generation of what
Jason.
you could relate to for what's in the horror genre," which is surprising to me because I've thought that this is like an indie, really an indie kind of situation, like Jason, Jason and Freddy and all that stuff was at least, from a studio. I mean, even though, yeah, I mean, but still, it's just like, wow, okay. Oh, you know what I did watch?
Oh, what?
I did watch just randomly because I didn't know that what I was watching. I watched the first Smile. Never watched that.
Oh, I want to see the second one so bad.
I never watched it.
Was
that
good.
was like, yeah, and that was just like, this is crazy. Like, it's not like it's not. I mean, it is scary.
Yeah.
Like jump scares, but it's not. But it's like in the mind becoming crazy. Because of the deal. And there's nothing you could do about it. That's the sad part about it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, man. But no, Smile was a good one, I will say.
It's one of those that gives you that icky feeling in your stomach as you're watching it.
Mhm.
Almost like body gore does, for me at least. But yeah, no, I watched Smile not knowing what it was either, because I want to say it popped up on my HBO or something last year. And I was watching it while Adam was trying to take a nap, and he woke up during a couple scenes. He was like, "Absolutely not! You need to watch this downstairs." I was like, "No, I'm gonna keep watching this."
Oh, in your bed? Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That would be crazy
Yeah.
for him.
Oh,
Definitely.
he goes to sleep and I put on some crazy shit because he doesn't want to watch it. So, but no, Smile's really good if you haven't watched it. Yeah, I don't know. I think you're right. I think Terrifier is going to be this season's slasher generation. Like he's the slasher for this generation,
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and I like the character. He seems to have a lot of personality, which is always a must, I mean, obviously, I'm a Skeet Ulrich girly, and Scream is my favorite. And I'm going to say an unpopular opinion: do not give me a Freddy Krueger game. I don't like Freddy Krueger movies.
You know what?
There's only like 2 out of the whole series that I enjoyed.
Probably the first the first or the second, the one without Johnny Depp.
I don't like the first one.
Okay, I don't know.
There's too much sex. I was like, girl, put a top on. You're on the ceiling. What are you doing? Hello? Oh yeah.
My God.
There's a lot of sex
on the ceiling. That's weird.
Yeah, like the guy goes to the restroom after they've had giggity.
So was
she's
in
just her underwear.
It had to have been a dream, right? Like they're in a dream.
Yes, right? And no. Spoiler. He wakes. Okay.
Spoiler. This movie came out like in 1980 something. We're good.
She's kind of. I think maybe she nods off, but Freddy is able to then come into their world, and he is just slashing and gnashing her up on the ceiling. Like he runs her up the wall, and she's just in her tiny little white undies, like Ooh. And the whole time I was like, "This is bullshit." Yeah. He can hear her. You cannot tell me. No. It just. Hi, Rev. Do I? I don't. Oh,
that's funny.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, I'm not a Freddy Krueger girly. Unpopular opinion, maybe. I don't know. I thought it was overrated. I love Johnny Depp. I love him in the movie. That's kind of it.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough.
And I don't remember which ones he's in, so don't ask me. I tried to do like a watch-a-thon one weekend last year, and I was like, this sucks.
You don't want to do that to yourself. But anyways.
I just wanted to get through it and say I watched them all, and here's my opinion on it, Because people are like, if you haven't seen it, Mal, you can't have an opinion. I was like, then I'll watch them. You
can have an opinion about it. I mean, those are B movies. That was the start in the middle of B movies. They weren't supposed to be like village masterpieces at all. So there you go. But anyways, okay. Well, there you go. So Terrifier, the game that I guess is now on the small radar. Okay, it comes out whenever. I don't think they have an official release date yet.
I didn't see one either, but the gameplay looks adorable. I would love to play it. And if you're like adorable, shut up. You don't know me. It looks cute.
Nice. All right. Well, finally, my last topic here is actually something very interesting and very odd. So Nintendo's been making some weird moves, and besides the fact that there was a playtest that happened that they officially announced about 2 or 3 days ago, and then they're just telling you what the the requirements of the playtest, but they don't tell you what it is that you're testing until I believe in the middle of the month. I think it's either the 20th or so of October. They just needed to register to get in or not. And I know Will and Vin got in. So we're seeing, well, I guess to be held on this. But the one that just got me like, what the heck is Nintendo? Like, what is this Nintendo? And who is this for? Nintendo made an alarm clock. Like just a random clock. And they called the clock Alarmo. And what it is, and they announced this clock on YouTube on Wednesday, and then they spent 5 minutes talking about the clock. And I was thinking to myself, Nintendo, one of the biggest gaming developers and gaming companies in the world, like literally just says, okay, we're gonna make a digital clock in this day and age. And the reasoning makes sense, but I think everyday people, I don't think they're going to use it. But anyways, Alarmo is first off costs $99 is one, and two, yeah, it's a pricey clock there, and two, it's what it's going to do is that it says it'll allow you to select a title, pick a scene, Set a time and let Alarmo handle the rest. In the morning, you'll experience immersive sound and music from the scenes you picked, followed by a game element arriving to help you wake up. And some of those scenes can be Mario, like taking coins, or giving you the victory sound and stuff like that, or being the Legend of Zelda theme and stuff, and other things. And what's cool about this clock apparently is that it's censored. So if you move up or whatever, it will sense you if you're awake or not, or if you're laying down, if you're still in a lay down state and stuff. It will know that you haven't moved. So I'm just thinking to myself, I mean, that's cool, but first off, this clock looks very, very comical. Like children, like can you imagine like an adult
Yeah.
inside a nice, like in a room and stuff like that, with a clock that's that red and with this weird button at the very top of it and stuff.
Right.
Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's clearly not meant for I guess it's going to be collectors, but then again, yeah, but I'm just like, no, I'm good. It's definitely not for me. But what do you think about what Nintendo's doing here?
Okay, so I went to Reddit because Reddit usually has all the answers for me. And people are like, my first night with Alarmo. Here are my impressions.
Someone actually has it. It's not out yet.
Yeah. That 3 days ago, somebody claims that they have an Alarmo.
That guy's a liar, because it's available for pre-purchase. It's not coming in until February of 2025.
So this is what it says. So I bit the bullet yesterday and went to the Nintendo New York store after my work shift to go pick up the Alarmo. I was pretty charmed by the little thing in the trailer, and I didn't mind adding it to my list of goofy tech things that I've purchased with my disposable discretionary income. I have a whole Twitter thread with the moment-to-moment impressions, but for this thread, I'll be lifting just the details of the first night specifically. And people in the comments are like, how do you have it? I thought it wasn't out yet. Now he does state, like, the center thing is kind of interesting, that he picked a certain theme, which was Link, and then when he finally did get up out of bed and the sensor detected that he had stood up, it went to the Mario theme.
Oh no, I understand, but I don't believe him, because it doesn't make any lick of sense. The game, they announced it on Wednesday, saying that it's coming out. I
have a Twitter thread, and he has it in his hands.
You show me that link, because
I got it.
I'm not saying I don't believe you, but I'm just saying that, like, to say that they did it.
There you go.
What is this?
Click on it. Yeah, no, he's got it.
How is it he get, like? Okay, let's see.
He went to the New York Nintendo store. I guess they have it.
It's not out. It's like you can only pre-register it. This is mine now? What? This doesn't make any sense. Oh, is this Japanese?
Is what Japanese?
Wait, this is inside the case. How did he pick it up? What?
I'm telling you, he got it. And he's showing lots of videos.
That is so odd. Okay, that is so odd.
See, I'm telling you, Reddit is my savior sometimes. But he goes like through the like points, but he says it's really cute that when you do finally stand up, if you do let the alarm play out for about 20 minutes, LED on the button dial turns from the light Korok green to a Guardian laser red and plays a scene where Link is in the middle of a full-on intense Guardian battle, laser sounds and all. By that point in time, when you do actually get out of bed and the sensor detects that you're clearly out of there, it plays the victory theme when you take down a Guardian. Yeah, so TLDR, $100 Nintendo alarm clock wakes you up with select Nintendo sounds. It's kind of silly, but if you're looking for a super efficient alarm or whatever, you probably weren't going to care too much for this thing. If you want to get it, that's largely up to you to decide with your adult money. So yeah, it looks really cute. Like, his thread is if you're interested, I just posted it in the Twitch chat. I mean, he goes into detail. He shows himself setting it up, like, minute by minute. He's going through the whole shebang. So if you're interested, it looks pretty cute. Would I get it for myself? No. Would I maybe get it for Adam because his alarm does wake me up? Yes. If the kittens get to the point where they don't wake him up in the morning, this might be on his Christmas list in his stocking.
$100 though. I mean, that's just like, it's pretty steep. I don't know, for an alarm clock. I don't know. That's just me. Snake Eyes says maybe a limited trial release. Maybe it's like, what? Okay, but I mean, dang, that's crazy.
Yeah,
people bought it too. But you know what? I'm not even going to say that it's going to fail, because it's not. Because every time Nintendo
also available to all visitors to the Nintendo New York stores while supplies last. Available today. It says at the end.
Oh, there you go. Okay, that's why.
Yep.
There you go. Wow. Okay,
that's
cool.
I can read.
I'm not calling you a liar. I was just like, how is this guy? Yeah, but.
Listen, I'm just reading, and then I clicked on the shed, and 2 and 2 equaled 4. So this is what I said.
That's funny. I mean, Alarmo's probably going to be successful because it's Nintendo. That's the reason why. If it was any other company, Nintendo I don't think it's going to happen. Like, remember they made a game called Labo, which was basically cardboard, like cardboard cutouts to make it things like that. It sells out fast. So I'm not going to say, okay, Nintendo, it's like, well, take the risk and see where this is going to go. It's just Nintendo is going to be one of those. It's like, they get the pass to be successful at whatever they do. So there you go.
You know what it kind of looks like? Do y'all remember? I mean, in the early 2000s, a lot of us had them. They looked like the old school, like wind up clocks. They had those for a little bit, and like
with the little hammer.
Yes. Those came back into rotation for us kids in the 2000s. I had one. That bitch only woke me up twice successfully. The rest of the time was off. And so I just had it as like decoration in my room. But this kind of looks like that a little bit, but like the weird. Updated version, like the futuristic.
I don't know if I like it. I still don't know if I like that.
You know what I want?
I wonder if it's just a clock. If it's just a clock, that would suck. You know what I mean? Like if it allows you,
it does more than that.
If it does, like the kind of clock I have is still a digital clock, but it's one of those clocks where you can connect like Spotify and all these different kinds of things to it, and then you can also put your either your Amazon or your what's it called home stuff, so you could say tell it commands and it will do it. That kind of stuff. If it does that kind of linking and stuff, I'm all in. That would make more sense on why you would charge for $100 on this, because this is not really like ridiculous technology for it. I mean, it needs to do more than that, So we'll see.
It's cute.
It is. I will admit to that. So we'll see. But anyways, folks, thank you for listening to episode number 239 of the CFG Gamecast. Thank you for being a part of the conversation as always. We will be back again next week with a whole new series of different topics and discussions, and hopefully Smitty will stop playing his Dynasty Warriors and decides to come on and play with us on this discussions as always. So if you did miss out on this episode, that is perfectly all right. We do new episodes we release new episodes every week at the beginning of each and every week. So there is absolutely no reason to miss out on our sexy voices. But thank you so much, and be sure to check out the other video content that we like to do on our website, confreaksandgeeks.com, on our YouTube, and also on our YouTube page. So once again, this is Davis and Lex signing out. Y'all take it easy.
We'll see you next time, okay?